United States, Greenland, and Denmark a long history of strategic interest in changing sovereignty. For more than a century, Greenland has occupied a unique place in the American strategic thinking. Its vast Arctic geography, sparse population, and proximity to North America have repeatedly drawn attention of the U.S. policymakers. While the idea of purchasing Greenland may sound unusual, today it has deep historic roots. The most serious attempt occurred in the mid 20th century when the United States, emerging from World War II as a global superpower, quietly offered to buy the island from Denmark. Understanding why that proposal was made and why it would be unthinkable today requires examining the intertwined history of Greenland, Denmark, and American geopolitical strategy. Greenland's historical relationship with Denmark. So, Greenland's history is shaped by both indigenous Inuit culture and European colonial ambition. Inuit people have lived on the island for thousands of years, long before Norse settlers arrived around the 10th century. Norway began asserting control in the 18th century, and after the dissolution of the dual monarchy in 1814, Denmark retained Greenland as a colony. Over time, Denmark's relationship with Greenland evolved from colonial rule to integration and eventually to autonomy. In 1953, Greenland's status changed dramatically when Denmark announced its constitution to incorporate the island as a full part of the Danish realm. This shift was partially a response to global decolonization pressure and partially an effort to solidify sovereignty at a time when the United States was showing interest in acquiring the territory. Later reforms expand Greenlandic self-governance, culminating in the 2009 Self-Rule Act, which granted Greenland's control over most domestic affairs and recognized the Greenlandic people as a distinct political community. The U.S. attempted to buy Greenland in the 1950s, although the United States had floated the idea of acquiring Greenland as early as the 19th century. The most serious effort came shortly after World War II in the 1946. The U.S. government secretly offered Denmark $100 million to purchase the island. This was not a welcome idea. It was a calculated Cold War move. Greenland's location made it a crucial strategic asset as tensions with the Soviet Union escalated. The Arctic became a front line for early warning radar systems and a potential bomber routes. The United States had already established Thule Air Base, which became one of the most important American military installations in the Arctic. Control over Greenland would have allowed the U.S. to secure the northern approach to the continent and strengthen its defense posture. Denmark, still recovering from Nazi occupation and lacking the geopolitical confidence it holds today, considered the proposal but ultimately declined. Even so, the U.S. maintained a strong military presence on the island, and Greenland remained central to America's Cold War strategy. So, why is the situation completely different today? Well, the United States has revived interest in Greenland several times, including in 2019 and again in 2024 and 2025. Any modern attempt to purchase the islands is fundamentally different from the 1950s context. Several major changes can explain why. Unlike in 1946, Greenland today is not simply a territory administered by Denmark. The 2009 Self-Rule Act gives Greenland control over its natural resources, international governance, and cultural affairs. Any changes in sovereignty would require the consent of the Greenlandic people themselves, not just Denmark. This marks a unrealistic sale, impossible. Modern Danish leaders have dismissed the idea of selling Greenland as absurd and incompatible with democratic principles. Denmark now views Greenland as central to its Arctic identity and international influence. The island is no longer a colonial possession, but a partner within the Kingdom of Denmark. If you've made it this far, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.